Hello everyone and welcome back to another Strongman competition review and recap. My name is Toby Lively and I'm going to be giving all of my thoughts on the Giants Live World Tour Finals that happened just yesterday in Glasgow. I watched it on the live stream and I have a few things that I want to say about the event and the competition as a whole, some standout performances, some little gripes and niggles that I have, but otherwise, overall, it was a fantastic competition. I can't wait to get stuck in to the review and recap. I know you guys love these review and recap videos, but it is not all I do on this channel. I also do my own training and I'm currently on the road to a 300 kilo deadlift. So if that sounds like something you might want to watch, go down below, click subscribe and check out my other videos. But other than that, every single major strongman competition, I will be doing one of these review and recap videos because I watch every single one. I'm a massive strongman nerd, so hopefully this could be a good place for all of the strongman nerds to come together and discuss the competition down in the comments section below. Now, hopefully you can't hear the wind and the rain outside. I'm in my flat to top floor flat and the wind and the rain is currently very loud, but hopefully the microphone is doing just enough of a good job to cut that out. But if you can hear it a bit, I apologise. Hopefully it will get better as the video goes on. But without further ado, I'm going to jump into the competition and give all of my thoughts and feelings on every single event. We'll go event by event throughout the competition and talk about how they went, standout performances, that sort of thing. We had 5 events in today's competition. We had the dumbbell medley, the farmers into yoke, the axle deadlift for reps, the Hercules hold, and of course the castle stone. So it was a classic Giants Live event setup. Couldn't get any more classic Giants Live, but I feel they were really good, fun events, and I feel like all of them went off without a hitch. So overall, it was a fantastic show. Really impressed me. I really enjoyed it. I was very entertained. But let's go event by event and talk about some of these standout performances. So first up, we had the dumbbell medley. 5 dumbbells from 80 kilo up to 120 kilo. Whoever could clear them all in the fastest time was the winner. And this was a really good event in my opinion. This is my favourite format for dumbbells, I think. I think dumbbell for reps, just a standard dumbbell, or dumbbell for max, they can be a bit tricky to referee and a bit tricky to get right. But a dumbbell medley, working through increasing dumbbells, I think it's the most solid to ref. Obviously, if you get a slightly dodgy down call, it can give you a bit of a time advantage. But overall, I think the reffing was good enough in this competition. There were definitely 1 or 2 iffy calls that had a few people on the Reddit questioning. But as far as dumbbell refereeing goes, no one's ever going to be 100% happy. It's just that sort of event where it is a difficult one to get right and everyone has their own standard on what they think makes a good dumbbell lift. But for me, the reffing was just fine. There was, as I said, 1 or 2 iffy calls that I sort of looked at and was like, eh. But overall, I don't think that changed too much of the overall show. And there was nothing glaring like there has been in the past. Now, a couple standout performances on this for me was obviously Roman Grekov. His dumbbell is a thing of beauty. I don't know how the Ukrainians do it. They must just pop out the womb with a dumbbell locked out overhead because it seems to just come natural to all of them. Pavlo Kordiaka as well, really technically efficient on these. But Grekov had the winning time for the majority of the event and just made every single dumbbell look the exact same. It was honestly beautiful to watch. It was ridiculous how good that man's technique was. But we had one man come out and beat him, and that was Mitchell Hooper, and you cannot deny that Mitch has tidied up his dumbbell form immaculately. He came out, he smashed through all 5 dumbbells, and there was not a single bad down call for Hooper. So this was his first of many event wins, and I think we could see what sort of shape he was in, and it was monstrous shape. Now, one of the standout I wanted to talk about on the dumbbell here was Trey Mitchell. The power that man must have in his shoulders to be able to rescue a 120 kilo dumbbell like he did. I was for sure thinking it was going to drop, but he managed to fight it up and get the down signal. And then right afterwards, on the microphone, he said that he wanted to pull a 505 kilo deadlift raw, and he thinks he has it in him sometime in the future. And you know what? I don't doubt him. He ramped up that 470 after, just 8 months from an injury, like a huge Achilles tear. So give him another year or 2 of injury-free deadlifting, getting his strength and power up and up and up, and the confidence in his mindset. I could see it going, and that's mental that I'm even saying that. So I really hope there's an opportunity where we get to see Thor, Hooper, Trey, Rauno, you know, Graham Hicks, all the best deadlifters together in one competition, just pushing the record as far as it'll go with some big prize money on the line. I really hope we see that go, but obviously the max deadlift was last competition's conversation today. We've got other events to go into, so let's jump straight into those. So our next event was the Farmers Walk into the Super Yoke Medley, and this is one of my absolute favourite events. It's proper strongman. I love seeing them in a medley together. 150 kilo farmers in each hand, and then a 450 kilo yoke. And I think the 150 kilo farmers, for me, on the surface, seemed like a fairly light weight at Giants Live. My PB on Farmers Walk for 10 metres, is it 10 or 20 at Giants Live? I don't know. But my PB for 10 metres on Farmers Walk is 140 kilo per hand. Now granted, that is not into a super yoke and not for immense super speed, but my point is I could finish that run, and that was over a year ago. And I reckon 150 in each hand wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility for me. So with that being said, and considering how far away I am from anything else at Giants Live, I would have liked to see the farmers a little bit heavier, maybe 160, 170. But that being said, it was a fine weight. It was more of a buy-in for that yoke. Obviously, it's part of a medley, so the weight is going to be down on just a straight farmer's run. But maybe 160 would have been a better weight to do, because we did see, I'm pretty sure, everyone finish the farmers, which we'd expect, but I think if we pushed it a little bit heavier, it would have split people up a little bit. But the best thing I love about this event is the people who are fast on the farmers might not necessarily be fast on the yoke, so it made for a load of really good and exciting races where someone pulled ahead, but the guy in the other lane then caught up on the super yoke, and that happened a few times. That was really, really entertaining. And it was at this point, unfortunately, Jacco Schoonwinkel had to pull out with the flu. He obviously seemed like he was going to be fine, and then after the first event, which again is not his best event in the dumbbell, probably his worst event, he just clearly wasn't right, so had to pull out. And it was a shame. I really wanted to see what Jacco could do. I mean, at least we got to hear Neil Pickup say Jacco Schoonwinkel over the mic as an introduction. I've been waiting for that for years. That's been fantastic. It's finally here, but hopefully we get to see Jacco back at a Giants Live where he can really show what he can do. This man's a finalist at World's Strongest Man, so we can definitely see more from him now. But our standout performances for the farmers into the super yoke is Evans Nana being massively fast. It seems like anyone coached by Loz seems to be good at farmers and yoke. That's just how it goes. Like, he was really, really rapid on that, which is great. I love seeing Evans do well in this competition. He really impressed me and a lot of people, so yeah, seeing him go rapid on the farmers into yoke was awesome. After that, we had Spencer Remick and Wes Dowinski be basically neck and neck the entire run on this farmers and yoke. And this was where the sort of jokes start that these guys are America versus Canada identical twins, because they were basically neck and neck on every single event, almost there or thereabouts. But seeing them neck and neck was a really good and exciting race. One of the other really, really exciting races was Pavlo Cordiaca and Luke Richardson. Luke Richardson got way ahead on the farmers, and then somehow out of nowhere Pavlo came flying on the super yoke. I managed to catch him and pip him right at the end of the medley. It was really exciting. This is how events should be. It should be really exciting, edge of your seat kind of hype. And seeing performances like that just really, really push it up there for me as one of my favourite events. I haven't mentioned him yet, but Luke Stoltman did really, really well on this event. You could tell that Luke had a fire in him. He did really well on the dumbbell, really well on this event. You could tell that being in Glasgow, he's still got some fight in him yet. And I mean, he looked good. He looked like a top 10 in the world, to be honest. He didn't finish super strong because the deadlift and the Hercules hold cost him a bit, but I think we knew that was going to be the case, at least on the deadlift. But the other events, he really shone, did really, really well. And he looked like he was in podium position, like he was good for a podium. It's just, yeah, shame about that deadlift, but that is Luke Stoltman's weakness, and he's worked on it massively, and he's getting better and better. So we'll see how he goes with age. He's definitely not done yet. But the final standouts on this was Trey Mitchell's grip held on the farmers. He managed to complete it. That's probably where the farmers being a bit lighter was helpful. It wasn't by all means a fast time, but he managed to complete the course and not drop too many points here, so was really good for Trey. This was going to be his week event, so happy that it went well for him. And then obviously Hooper was just ridiculous, like I don't even know if I need to speak on Hooper. If you haven't watched this event and see what Hooper does on it, it is just mental. The man is running with the yoke. He's not doing a yoke walk that's fast. He is running with a yoke on his back, 450 kilos on his back, and the man is sprinting. It was ridiculous. I'm pretty sure he was a good 5 seconds clear of the person in second place. It was absolutely mental to watch. So next up we move into the axle deadlift for reps. This was the really hard setup with the big, train axle and big, huge wagon wheels on it, not the big globes. So it was expected that results would be a little down on this one because it is the harder piece of kit. But I think for me, the first standout was Trey. Everyone expected him to be up in the winning, getting 6 or 7 on this piece of kit, but you could obviously tell that the 470 had still taken quite a lot out of him, and obviously rightly so. And he ended on 5, which is perhaps down on people's expectations, but it ended up being joint second place through a number of guys. So it was still a good enough result, but you perhaps would have expected 6 or 7 from someone like Trey on this, be it he fresh, but we're 3 events deep into a competition now, and he did 470 not too long ago, and your body takes a lot to recover from a lift like that. So the next few standouts, as I mentioned, were people matching Trey's 5 reps, being Wes Dawinski, Luke Richardson, and Evans Nana. And obviously, people expected Luke Richardson to be good on the deadlift. This actually, he said on the mic, matched his PB on this from 2020 when he said his deadlift's feeling good. So we got Luke Richardson back, and we got him back to his best. So hopefully he can exceed his best, and we get to see him pushing the likes of Mitch Hooper. He said himself that he is the same as Mitch Hooper, but instead of consistently getting firsts and seconds, he's consistently getting thirds and fourths. So he just needs that extra 10 or 20%, and then he's going to be really pushing, because Luke doesn't really have a weakness. He's just incredibly all-round super solid, and I guess his weakness is his tendons, but he seems to have fixed it. He seems to be back, and it's so great to see Luke back and performing. And no one expected Evans Nana to be up there second place on the deadlift, matching Trey and Luke Richardson. Evans really impressed this competition. His static power has got far better. His moving's always been good, but his static power in the likes of the deadlift really impressed a few people, myself included. And seeing him get that 5th rep was awesome. Obviously, he was side by side with Hooper, who did 6 reps in about 30 seconds and then stopped because he didn't need to do any more. Hooper, again, another event win. That's 3 back-to-back, just looking unstoppable, looking like this is a training session. He's in a league of his own. And I mean, I wish I could get 30 grand for turning up and doing a regular training session. It's just ridiculous to see how well this man does and how much he's pushing ahead of the pack. The battle for 2nd and 3rd becomes the thing you're focusing on, because it's sort of almost by this point a foregone conclusion that Hooper's going to win every event and not bother doing the last one. It's just ridiculous that that is the standard that we are watching with Mr. Hooper. But yeah, very bog standard Giants Live deadlift here. The results were perhaps a little bit down on what we could have expected, but honestly, 4 people tying on 5 reps on this implement is pretty standard, pretty decent. We just perhaps might have expected a little more from Trey, but given the 470 just a few weeks ago, I can excuse that he's probably a little bit down on what he has been able to do. So we're moving in to the Hercules hold next. Now, the Hercules hold has mixed opinions across strongman fans. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm pretty indifferent. I find it enjoyable to watch. I don't find it as slow and boring as a lot of people say. But I will say straight off the bat, I don't know about guest lifters on events that aren't just world records, as in big world records. I know it's great seeing Mark Felix and Iron Bibby out here performing on the Hercules hold, but it might have been a better thing to have done as a half-time challenge sort of thing, a bit like how at the Shore Classic, or the Strongest Man on Earth rather, they have the grip and arm lifting stuff in between events. Perhaps if after the 3rd event and before the other guys come in and have a go on the Hercules hold, in the bit of an intermission sort of thing, we have a few of the legends come in and have a go, like Mark, we get Iron Bibby, Loz, Terry, and we have a bit of a fun half-time thing, a bit like when Kaz and Magnus had a go on it a few years ago now, having it as sort of just an add-on to the main event with all the guys, I think takes a little bit away from what we're trying to do with the main guys, and puts the focus a lot on Mark and Bibby, which is fantastic. But when they don't break the record, it came across as a little underwhelming that they've come out and done this hold as part of the main troop as guest lifters, and nothing's really come of it. And I know we do that with the deadlift and the log, but that's slightly different because that is the deadlift world championships and the log world championships. They are their own separate competition that happen to be the first event of a broader strongman competition. This is just a random event in the middle of a strongman comp. And I think if we're going to do like legends try and break a world record on a piece of kit sort of thing, then it needs to be as its own separate like half-time thing. So, and I think that'd be great. I'd like to see more grip stuff as sort of like a between events thing. So it gives the guys a little bit of a rest doing the full comp, and it allows us to see some of the legends like Mark, like Loz, like Terry do something that's not going to be too ridiculously taxing, but it would be cool to see, like, say, we can see them do a bit like Brian's dumbbell series, see who can lift the heaviest inch style dumbbell. That'd be really cool to see. But I think as part of the main show, as just random guest lifters on the Hercules hold, didn't really work for me. I don't know whether I'd be saying different if the world record had been broken. Obviously Mark was very, very close. But I probably would still maintain the same fact that I think it was just a bit unnecessary. But that is absolutely no hate to Mark or Bibby. They are both fantastic guys and I love seeing them compete. I just didn't think the format worked for me. It might have worked for you guys, but for me, it didn't work. But as for the overall comp, now we got the record guest liftery bit out of the way. The Hercules hold was a bit of an interesting one. We had Roman Grekov go one-legged on the Hercules hold, and I guess he must have had his positioning slightly off and he got pulled onto one leg. And I mean, kudos to him for holding on for even as long as he did on one leg. Like, that's mental fortitude to be able to do that, but it was quite entertaining. Pavlo seemed to have a bit of a hiccup with the chain length. They seem to have got something wrong. Something didn't look quite right for him. It took him a little bit of time to get started, but once he did, it was fine. Trey did really well on this event. He got, I believe, second on this, which was fantastic for Trey. I know a lot of people say that his grip is his weak point, but it's mainly his grip on like a heavy, really heavy farmer's or frame. On a Hercules hold and grip endurance, he's actually not too bad, and we saw that today. He's done really well to come second on this event. He's got himself some really good points there. On an event perhaps some guys were thinking he wouldn't do so well on, so that was awesome to see. Luke Richardson as well, up there again. I think he got third on this event, over the minute mark. Did, again, really, really well. I think he was slightly down on what he did last time he did the Hercules hold, but I think everyone was. Obviously, having just done a farmer's walk, your grip's going to be taxed even if it is fairly light for you. Going into a Hercules hold max grip endurance event, your grip's already going to be feeling it. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that some of the guys were a bit down on their previous times, but great to see Luke up there once again. And of course, Hooper again getting another event win. What can this man do? Everyone thought that the Hercules hold might be that event where he didn't quite make the event win, but no, he came out, he showed what he can do, he screamed down the camera, and I mean, that's a wrap for Hooper. He'd won the event just by doing that and won the whole competition. Doesn't even need to come out for the stones, which is fantastic for him, because I know there's nothing I'd rather do than not have to put tacky on in a strongman competition, so I bet he's ecstatic he doesn't have to very often. But yeah, we just saw a different class of Hooper today, and a different class of Hooper this year, to be honest. He's just in a league of his own. It's just ridiculous seeing him perform against some of these guys where the last couple of years before Hooper, these performances we all thought were awesome, and they are awesome, but Hooper just came in and absolutely blew what was possible out of the water. We've not seen someone perform like this in a long time. It's fantastic to see Hooper just absolutely smash it. And I know people don't like the dominance per se, because they want to see battles for first place, but in my opinion, dominance is awesome to see. It just shows that the other guys need to step up their game, and I think it's going to motivate the other guys to do that and take the sport to a whole new level, which is awesome. So yeah, I made the battle for third and second really, really interesting, and Mitch bowing out, the main reason he said he did so was so that we had a head-to-head battle for 4th and 5th and a head-to-head battle for 2nd and 3rd, which made it awesome, made the stones actually really exciting rather than having one guy just lift one and then one guy having to go on his own. It was actually really interesting, a really solid event where we had people going head to head. And we had a lot of really good runs on this stones series. I think it was a really good stone setup. We had quite a few guys finishing it in decent times. Roman had a really good run. Kane Francis had a fantastic run. He moved super well with stones. I mean, Kane is just an absolutely awesome athlete. He did really, really well in this competition. I haven't mentioned his name too much so far this video, and that's just because he didn't have any super standouts apart from the stones, but he was always there and thereabouts, always in that sort of 5th place mark on an event, just doing really solid, really, really well. So yeah, really great to see Kane performing. Him and Evans from the Strongman Champions League are people I've been following for a little bit now, so it's really good to see them at the next level up also performing really, really well. And Luke Stoltman went out with a bang here, doing a fantastic stone run to cement the event win on the stones and show why he was there in Glasgow. I believe he ended up in 5th in the overall competition. Correct me if I'm wrong, but really great showing from Luke. Obviously, we had a couple of weak events in there for him, but I think he'll be pleased. I think he showed people that he is top 10 in the world, no matter what people say, and that he's still got fight in him yet. And I mean, people were calling for Luke Stoltman's retirement not too long ago, and he switched coaches, switched his approach, and he seems to be focused, hungry, and doing fantastic. So it's great to see him back, doing really, really good and in good form. Now, a really exciting run for me was Evans Nana and Wes Dowinski. They both were so close to getting that 5th stone up. Both got it right there or thereabouts and dropped it at the last second. It was super, super close, super tight. I really thought both of them were going to get it. It was that close, but that was a really exciting run for sure. And finally, we had Trey versus Luke Richardson, the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Who was going to end up further up that podium than the other one? And it was a photo finish almost, where Trey and Luke got to the last stone at exactly the same time, and Trey just pipped in, being slightly quicker as Luke slowed to get the extension of the 5th stone up. They both got the 5th stone up, but Trey just got ahead of Luke Richardson, which meant that we had Luke Richardson in 3rd place, Trey Mitchell in a second place in a row, and then of course Mitchell Hooper had already won by this point, so he was on top of that podium. But that Trey versus Luke battle was really exciting, really interesting, and I really hope we see it at some of the bigger stages like the Arnolds or World's Strongest Man, where we can get like full Trey power and Luke Richardson back to his best. It's so great to have Luke Richardson up there and performing consistently at Giants live shows, because having an English guy to get behind is really, really great, and having one be at the top, getting those 2nd and 3rd places at different shows is really great. And I'm really happy to see Luke back, because we've had a load of really good English guys in the past, and just in the last year or two they've dwindled down a little bit via injuries or focusing on the deadlift in Graham Hicks' example, but we're just seeing them come back to the top. So really, really good to see, and I'm really pleased overall with how the competition went. So that is my review of Giants Live World Tour Finals, the final Giants Live show of the year, and overall I think it was exactly what a Giants Live show should be. It was fantastic. There were one or two little hiccups here and there, which I know people love to nitpick, but overall it was a really well run show. It was a fantastic show, really great lineup. Everyone put in their absolute best to perform there. I mean, Chris Beetham, Scotland's strongest man, was definitely out of his depth, but it is the first Giants Live for him and the first step up into this new level of competition, so it's always great to get that experience, and I wouldn't count him out just yet. I'm sure in the next couple of years we'll be seeing him up there and performing well. But yeah, nothing really but positives to say on this Giant Live show. I really, really enjoyed it, and if you guys enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below what your favourite moment of the show was, and let me know down below if there's anything you didn't like about the show, and we can have a bit of a chat about that. Always great to discuss. I'm a massive strongman nerd, so we'll always discuss anything strongman related with you guys. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If this is your first video here on the channel, as I mentioned, please go down below and hit subscribe. We are super close to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and I just really hope that we can grow this channel more and more, and more of you guys stick around to watch not only my competition recaps, but my Friday talk videos, my training as well, We do a lot here, and I just do it for the love of the game. I absolutely love doing this. I don't really have anyone too close to me in real life that I could talk about strongman and training with too often without boring their heads off. So I stick up the camera, sit down and chat with you guys, and it's what I love to do. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Toby. As I said, if you like the video, please be sure to leave a like down below. But anyway, I will see you in the next one.